Hey, my fabulous people. Today on Inside Look, we just had the best time talking about how sex therapy can help in your dating life if you're single or newly getting back into the dating field. So, we had a ball. Like, I loved it, and I hope you enjoy it and love it too. If you do, like, subscribe, and share with a single person you know. All right, let's get into it. All right, good. All right, today we're going to talk about how sex therapy can help with your dating life with that. And so we're going to dive right in. So, Mary Hannah, how do you think sex therapy can help with your dating life?
Oh, in absolutely all kinds of ways, and whatever ways are specific for you. One thing that really comes to mind with dating is the way that breakups affect our dating going forward, right? And
Mm,
how breakups can be really like traumatic sometimes, and it's not necessarily talked about because it's such a normal
yeah,
part of our
yeah.
world. I was actually just reading an article about how college age like type students like 17 to like 28 talk about how they list a breakup as one of their most traumatic events in like the past year.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes.
so whenever we go through a breakup, we sort of have like two options, right? We can either like understand how it came to an end and come to peace with it, or it can
Mm-hmm.
make us more jaded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that jadedness that is going to carry over into our next relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of how
Mm-hmm.
we view our partner might abandon us, reject us, hurt us,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that can already preemptively make the next relationship harder.
Yeah.
So I just think looking at breakups and how, like, what are we carrying away? What messages are we carrying away from those relationships
Yeah.
into the next one for dating?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Excellent. All right, Sherry, for you, how can sex therapy help with dating?
I think Mary Hannah said it all.
You don't have any comments to add?
I mean, I was thinking a little bit differently.
So go share.
While I agree, my little Bohemian mind is thinking, when you feel those abandonment, rejection issues, are they reaffirming things that you've already experienced in the past? So are you being re-traumatized
Mm-hmm.
through the
Mm,
breakup?
Mm-hmm.
Different things like that. Or did that breakup really cause those emotions, right? Or did they
Yeah.
just recall some emotions that could have already been there? And
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
sex therapy is helpful, and sometimes people have a very religious view of sex and what sex means before marriage, or during relationship. And if somebody has maybe feel like they have went against their family tradition and lost
Mm-hmm.
their virginity in a relationship, then they sometimes suffer and deal with, well, how do I move past this? I thought this was my person. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those can be causing some emotion from the breakup, which is, can get a little bit multidimensional and complex. So
Mm-hmm.
sex therapy is helpful just in normalizing, like I always say, that your body's going to be horny and that you're going to want to have sex, and learning how to incorporate that and normalize some of those sexual experiences throughout
Mm-hmm.
your,
Mm-hmm.
dating life cycle or whatever you want to call it.
Definitely so.
Mhm.
All right, Joe, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's real. I'm not going to say no, but it's all so good. It's just rich, just all of it. And I think sometimes people blow past how they feel.
Yeah.
They don't take time to process it. They just jump back in
Yeah.
to, try and have somebody else help them feel good. But that's not the way to go. So I think all this is really good, and how
Yeah.
to dress, not jumping back in and bringing more stuff with you. It's like you're bringing all this luggage with you,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
you go back in and you drag another suitcase in,
Yeah.
so that's just good. Very good.
I
Very
think it
good.
can specifically help on the areas where you had sexual trauma. Sounds really hard, but any
Hmm.
type of sexual disappointment or hurt in a past relationship. And so and it happens for my women and men, but what's coming up for me right now is my men. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they've had a previous relationship and their partner was like, your penis isn't big enough, or um or you're a sex addict, or just kind of anything where they felt, if you don't kind of work that out, you're going to take that into the next relationship and then get really extreme in what you're doing with that. I think also a lot of men in general will start to feel like my job is to make her happy through sex.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women are like, okay, that's not the way to make me happy. Like that works. And I like that. It feels good. It bonds us together. I like that closeness, but that's not the way to make me happy. And so I think that's another way we can help men really start to kind of listen in their relationships with that. And then women seem to take on, um, I'm defective, I'm not good enough, what if I smell, what if, kind of all of these self-esteem issues around sexual things. If they've had a partner who said that they needed to lose weight or needed to do all of the other things that, people say in passing that hurts you, that will impact women sexually. Because if my last partner said I needed to lose weight, then I'm not going to want to get naked with this partner, and all of that, because I'm scared. What are they
Mhm.
going to say with that? I think
Mm-hmm.
also kind of learning about the trajectory of sex in a relationship with that. And so I'll have marital couples who have been married 20 years and they're like, we wanted to be like it was when we were 20. That's not possible. Like, you got 3 kids, 3 dogs, 3 jobs between the two of you guys, and you're taking care of an elderly person. On top of all of that, you don't have the time nor energy, nor your body is the same as it was when you were 20. And so I think anybody who's coming maybe out of a marital relationship and dating again and wanting to get into another marital relationship, really kind of understand and maybe have some conversations around who you are sexually now and what your expectations are for yourself sexually now. And so if you are, and I'm going to say this especially for my older people. So at one point, and Sherry and Mary Hannah, you guys may know this, but I've been out of school a minute. And so, and when I was in school, we were talking about the STD rates were raising among essentially the older population, like their STD rates were skyrocketing. And it's because that generation did not have any sex education when they were in school. They didn't know how to have a conversation. And so now they're dating. And I think I remember this one guy was like, well, her kitchen is clean, so I think she's a clean lady. All right.
Oh,
That's not
oh, oh,
that's not how we judge whether somebody has an STD or not based on the
wow.
cleanliness of their kitchen.
And her apple pie smells good.
Right? That is not how I want you judging it. And so if nothing
Wow.
else, we can help practice with the client and role play with the client how to have some of these harder conversations. You know, if you have an STD, when do you have that conversation with your partner? If you're dating, when do you guys start talking about sex and introducing sex? I know for a lot of my guys, I've heard them say, well, I don't want to say sex too soon, because they're scared they're a loser, but they also, that's very pressing for them. And my women too, like, do I wait the 90 days? Like, I think that was popularized by Steve Harvey. Like, I need to wait 90 days. Do I wait until marriage, or like, what do I do and what does that mean? And so if you come into sex therapy, we can at least start to walk you through those conversations. And then, because I also want you to be able to talk about STDs, talk about how sex is going to change your relationship. When should we enter sex? What are your expectations once we start having sex? What type of protection are we using? And I even talk to married couples sometimes about what type of protection you're using. Okay, y'all don't want to have kids, but neither one of y'all are using any form of birth control. Okay, tell me how this is gonna work, like with that. And so Jessica's coming in. All right. So, helping, I think, if anything else, therapy is a place to talk about very hard topics and conversations. And then, if we can role play with you so you can have that conversation out loud, let those words come out your mouth, and then it's easier for you to have those conversations in a partnered relationship with that. Also, I really want couples talking about the sexual menu that's available to them in dating, and does that change if they were able to move to marriage? And so let's say, for example, I've worked with some couples where some things, some sexual things were okay to do during dating, and some things they wanted to save till marriage. And so that might be intercourse, it might be oral sex, it might be something. It could be anything. It could be bondage play. Like I don't want to do that with somebody who I'm dating, but I'll do that with somebody who I'm married because I trust them more. They've signed on the dotted line. Or it could be vice versa. That's something I'll do with a dating partner that I don't expect this relationship to go anywhere. And so I can play and have fun, and I'm not worried about judgment or my kink showing through or anything. But I wouldn't do that with a marital partner, because I don't want them judging me or thinking whatever a marital partner may think about me, that because I like to be tied up or choked out or whatever these days. All right. So, Jessica, we have jumped into the conversation of how sex therapy can help with dating. All right. You want to think about it for a second, or you want to jump right in? You have thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know what's been covered because I just got here. But I guess my initial thoughts are communication. Like,
Yeah.
sex therapy, I think one of the biggest things is also looking at protection and who's providing the protection and what protection we need and what STI tests are required. And then also looking at what people feel comfortable with, because I think there's a lot of assumptions that go into sex, either with dating or marriage, that like this X, Y, and Z needs to happen in order for that to be a successful, intimate encounter. And it's like, you actually don't need X, Y, or Z. So.
Right. I think another good thing is figure out, I think if you can figure out beforehand, before you go into a dating relationship, the difference for you between sex and intimacy, and what do you need to provide intimacy with that, and just kind of be real clear. And so I think one of the things that I think still amazes me with is how people are unclear about their own self and their own beliefs with that. Are you really comfortable liking what you like? Can you say it out loud to another person? With that, those are some of the things that I see.
But I think to a certain extent that there's also about the level of trust. Like, I can be comfortable with what I want. Do I feel comfortable disclosing to you what I want? And I think those can be different, because like I may tell a partner that I want X, Y, and Z, and I may tell a girlfriend like, oh, it's not happening the way that I want it to happen.
Right. But I think this goes back to the communication, like you said already, like being able to communicate with the partner. And so I think if you haven't kind of gotten clear, that's one place where sex therapy can really help you get clear on what you want in the relationship when, and what does that mean, and then how do you articulate that. And for me, what I've seen a lot of this is self-confidence, self-esteem issues, insecurities, because if I tell them this, I know they'll leave me. If I tell them this, they may leave me with that. And that may be true. Honest to God, it may be true sometimes. If you tell somebody, hey, I got AIDS, they may run out the door with that. But you got to tell them eventually if you want this relationship to grow. And so I think a therapist who definitely can help you navigate through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's honest.
What else is coming up for you guys when y'all think about dating? And yes, Sherry.
Okay, I just, when you were talking about the guys and them sort of feeling overwhelmed if they had negative experience. And, I just wanted to touch on the fact that how guys that I've seen so far, when it's in a couple relationship, heterosexual couple relationship, is that if the woman don't orgasm through penile and vaginal sex, then they take that so personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then the woman starts to say, well, I just need some oral or a vibrator and I'm good. But the male partner in the relationship puts so much pressure on them and start pathologizing it so badly that they end up here thinking that that's very dysfunctional. And then the woman started to question herself and say, hey, I've been happy like this for a long time until I mess up. Maybe it is something wrong. And so just helping guys come to the conclusion that orgasm or climaxing or pleasure can be reached in different ways. And it doesn't say anything about their penis size or, you know, if they're adequate or if the woman is inadequate. It has nothing. It's just what it is. It's almost like you're lucky if you get that penile vaginal orgasm, you know. Because I don't really think the ratio, like the percentage is that high for people who have penile and vaginal sex that the woman will reach an orgasm that way. I think it's not like 90%. I think it's somewhere between maybe between 50 and 65 or something like that.
So last time I read the research, and this was, I remember it was 2 or 3 different studies that I remember reading. And so it's 70 to 80% across these 3 studies. Like one said 75%, one said, I think 80, and I think the other one said 70. So between 70 to 80% of women do not have an orgasm through penis vagina sex. That is because, and I've said this before, but I promise you people do not know this information because TV has really misled us with sex. It has really, really misled us for sex. All right. I feel like I give this speech like 5 times a week. I should just make a video. The penis is a wonderful multifunctional thing, and it works for urination, procreation, and sexual pleasure. It does all 3. The female body is set up very differently. The vaginal canal is for procreation. It does not have a lot of nerve endings. If it had any more nerve endings than it did, we would not make it through childbirth. It's already pretty painful. If we had just one more nerve ending, like no, with that. And so therefore, not a lot of nerve endings in the vaginal canal. The urethra is not connected to vaginal canal because that would probably like never be able to pee again after like a 10-pound baby. And so it's separated. And also is the clitoris. The clitoris has no reason to be on your body except for sexual pleasure. And I really wish that this was like a class that men had to take because they are caught up in my magic stick should be able to go in this hole and make magic. And that's not the way it works, but that's the way I think they've seen it on TV so often that, and they want it to be true. And that's just simply not true. So then they're expecting that to happen. And then the female is feeling less than because it's not happening. I mean, I think when I used to do our consult calls, a lot of females would call in like, I think I'm broken. I'm broken. Okay, you're not. You're not. You're fine. Can you have an orgasm with your clitoris? Yes. Okay, you're not broken. You're fine. And so like that pressure, and I think, oh, so much I wanted to say, and I think it all left my head. But I think another. Okay, this is a thing that happens in dating. Notice. Women lie about how good sex is with the partner when they're just dating a guy. And women will fake an orgasm. And then when the man is in a committed relationship, like a marriage, and sitting in my office and his partner is saying, hey, it's not that good for me. Sex is not that good for me. We need to do something different. He's like, what do you mean? Every woman I've ever been with has had an orgasm and loved me. It must be you. And she's like, it could be, but it's just, this isn't making me happy. He's like, I don't know why. You're the only woman I've ever been with who hasn't been happy with me. And if I could change that in dating, I would. Women, please be honest. And men, please just do the math. There's just no way every woman you had sex with has had an orgasm every single time. Like the math ain't mathing on that.
Well, say it isn't so.
Right. And they are looking so bewildered. And so if I could correct that in dating, y'all, we might be out of business if I could correct that in dating. If we could get people
No.
to be honest with
Yeah.
that.
You won't, as long as you have movies, like you said.
Oh my
You'll stay.
Right?
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of
Mm.
like want to go to Hollywood and fuss.
And-
Like, stop
yeah.
doing this.
Movies and
Mhm.
discourses will keep you just where you are. You'll be in business forever.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what's selling it. That's what's selling it, you know.
Right.
And so many people are messed up by it. If they just be
Yes.
honest, you know,
Yes.
with how they feel.
Yes.
And if you feel it, fine. If you don't, fine. You know, it's not the end of the world, but, you know, so forth and so on. It's just,
Yeah.
whew, it's too much.
Yeah, and then I think another
Be
thing with TV,
real.
because now I'm on a TV rant, is if I want you guys to notice how much sex on TV is with non-married couples.
Hmm.
And so we don't even really get a good picture of on TV of what sex inside a long-term committed relationship looks like. And I think a lot of people don't understand sex is a skill. Being in a long-term relationship is a skill. And so you can't say 10 years into the marriage, well, this didn't happen when I was dating. You were not here. This is the first time you've been at this place where you've been having sex with a person 10 years. And pretty much nobody's body is what it was 10 years ago. You know, even a professional athlete will tell you the difference in his performance now as it was 10 years ago with that. And so bodies change, and being able to roll with that and understanding. And I think also bringing it back around to the subject of dating, understand when you were dating in your 20s and now you know, gotten married, gotten divorced, and you're dating again, that it's going to be different, and you need to have different expectations with that, you know. And so how do you deal with maybe erectile dysfunction in dating, whereas that would have never happened maybe in your 20s, but now it's happening that you're dating 40 and 50-year-olds with that, you know. How do we deal with vaginal dryness in dating with that would have never happened in your 20s, but now it's happening, you know. Can you have the conversation of, hey, we really probably always need to keep a lubricant on hand, which actually I would like every woman at every age to do. But for this conversation, knowing that bodies change and being able to have those conversations with, okay, these are some things that I know are going to work for me now. And even like back supports and stuff. So there's a store called the Liberator Store, and they sell all kind of pillows that provide back supports. And so when you're 20, you can have what me and my colleague call athletic sex and swinging from the chandelier. When you've maybe been through a car crash or just been standing on your feet for the last 20 years on a job, you know, some of the things you used to be able to do when you were 20, you may not be able to do anymore. And so be able to talk about all of this in the dating relationship, that to really have those honest conversations. And one goal I would love for people to have in dating is to show up as yourself. Like, and let that be your thermostat for how well the relationship is going. Barometer, that's what I was really wanting to say. Barometer is like, how honest can my conversations be with this person? Am I my true self? Are my needs getting met? Are my real needs getting met? And if not, can we have a conversation with them? Like, and did I have a conversation and they shifted a little bit to meet my need with that? And is this somebody that I can work with? All right, I said a lot. What else is coming up for you guys in our last 3 minutes?
I think it'd be good to have a set the record straight moment. Like, you know, just to get people to the point where they have confidence in just being honest with themselves and with their partners, and just overall, just a perspective or a bird's eye view of how that looks and how to do that, and how not to listen to all those outside influences when people start telling you something different. Hollywood is projecting an idea, and a lot of people have bought into that idea. And it's caused a lie that has been perpetuated, screwing everybody up, basically. And
Yeah.
if it could be a set the record straight for people, I think
Yeah.
that would help a lot of people, and just being honest with, this is how I feel, this is how I feel. Now, how do we work from that point, from the outside in, and stay there and have someone track with you to stay on track? Because,
Yeah.
people come in and start telling you different things. Girl,
Right.
that's not what I think. Man, that's not how it happened. Be quiet. How is it really
Yeah.
happening for you? And keep all those outside voices out. It's just you two
Yeah.
that are dealing with this.
Hmm.
So I just say set the record straight and, get back to just being who you are and how it should be. Just the truth of the matter.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go
I'm done.
Sherry. We got 1 minute
Go ahead.
left.
While we were talking about skills, understanding how to be in the here and now and being present with yourself
Ooh,
is a
say
skill
that
within
again.
itself. And just even understanding what centeredness and balance is a skill within itself to even bring people to a point where they can say, this is me. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I want. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
now need, because a lot of people emotions and brain and spirit and everything just not operating in the present. They just
Yeah.
not
Mm-mm.
centered, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not in the here and now. There are a lot of different places besides, hug a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
Feel the
Have
grass on your feet. They're not
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. All right. Here, Mary Hannah, you had something?
Oh yeah, just I totally agree, Sherry, and of like there's so many generalizations in dating of men all this or women all
Mm-hmm.
this. This is what you need to do to get a woman, get a man,
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. And it's like just be present. Figure out what's going on inside when you're on a date, what's coming up for you. Focus in the present of the person you are with and their own unique
Mm-hmm.
internal um humanity, and I think that's like get all of the other opinions out of the way. What do you need and what's coming up for you?
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. All right, fabulous ladies, we are out of time. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It was a great, great conversation. All right, y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed our content today. We are here at Atlanta Sex Therapy to serve. If you did like our content, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Also, click the little bell so you can get notifications when we put new videos out. People don't know what sex therapists do, and we're trying to get the information out there and spread the word. So I'm going to ask you to send this to 3 people because you never know who may be in need of more good information about sex. Thank you, and just have a wonderful day in life.